Well, for more on Mississippi, let's bring in Mississippi State Representative Ronnie Crudup Jr. via Skype. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So for our international audience who might not be familiar with the state, break down Mississippi's demographics and its economic makeup.
Well, Mississippi, which has a population of about 3 million people, Jackson, which has a residency of about 160,000, 85% of Jackson is African American. And so we have the great population. I think it's about 40% black across the state of Mississippi. And we are, I guess, about $3 billion of our total gross revenue that we bring in every year for the state.
And so then in terms of some of the industries, the main industries in this state, what really drives growth there?
Well, a lot of it is around the hospital industry. We have a number of manufacturer organizations that have come in, car dealerships, Nissan, Toyota, has all come in the last 10 years. And so Mississippi has broken ground for a lot of those kind of industries because we had a lot of land available for pretty cheap. And so that's where we are at this very moment.
And so then as we then look at the water crisis, what's happening in Jackson and how does it compare to, say, what we saw in Texas with their storm, or say separately in Flint, Michigan?
Well, so Jackson, we did lose power, but our biggest concern was we lost the water. Our water concern was that we didn't have any. You know, with it being a population, I said about 85% African American, in the part of South and West Jackson, which hits the hardest, which is about 90% African American. Those high areas, which is a long way from our water treatment facility, it just weren't able to take the hit from those 5 or 6 days of, cold temperatures.
So then, given this shock to the system, then where do efforts to upgrade the infrastructure stand in these weeks after the crisis?
So we're asking the state legislature for about $47 million. I think the city is going to put in about $3 million because the city just didn't have the money. We've been dealing with these issues for a long time, but we don't have the revenue. So we need about $47 million to weatherize the water treatment facility. Once that happens, it won't be able to shut down again. We've had talks with the EPA. They've come in and told us what we need to do. And so we're ready for those things to happen. But we also need another influx of money to fix a lot of these broken pipes. A lot of broken pipes, I think about 80 to 90 that occurred during that winter storm also. And so that's why our system is not back fully maintained yet. Most residents have water at this current moment. They can flush, they can shower, but it's not safe to drink right now. And so we're hoping the next couple of days, the boil water notices will be lifted, that it will just be safe to drink for all families then.
And obviously all this is happening during a pandemic. How much has the pandemic affected Mississippi and its residents?
Well, the pandemic affected us quite a bit. A lot of restaurants shut down during that time because of COVID. But, we're working the best we can to make sure that people have what they need. The vaccines are rolling out every day. Matter of fact, our governor released a statement that says everyone can go and get the vaccine now. And so that is going on, but we're still trying to take those measures, people staying safe, even though our governor lifted the mask mandate, but a lot of cities are still keeping it going on. And so our numbers are kind of declining right now, and we hope that we continue to decline, that, our industry will come back.
So then as the governor was saying, then more people being able to be vaccinated, then how does that work with your impressions of the latest stimulus and how far that might go to really help the people and the businesses in your state?
Well, last year when we had about $1.2 billion that came to the state, we were able to disperse that to help people with rental assistance. Also, a lot of businesses that were able to apply for a lot of grant money. I think we really used our money wisely. And we have another, I think, $1.8 billion that is coming to our state that hopefully we can use this wisely as well, that we can really help people get back on their feet. A lot of people who are, losing jobs and couldn't pay rent, couldn't pay mortgages. So a lot of that assistance is needed. And I believe we're going to do well with it.
And just quickly, what else are you watching for in Mississippi, both in terms of infrastructure changes as well as health outcomes?
Well, we're looking for jobs. I mean, even though, I mentioned we have some manufacturing firms that's come in, car dealers and makers, but we're really looking for some new jobs, some kind of, out of the box thinking. I think Amazon has decided to come into a couple of parts of the state, but Jackson, we've really lost our economic base over the last 10 to 15 years. So we're trying to figure out how we can rebuild that, and then that way we can house our housing stock to go back up, and then it'll give us the number of residents that we need to be able to help pay for these needs. So Jackson, we've lost, a big population over the last 20, 25 years. So we need to gain population again to be able to cover the things that we need for the city.
Well, I hope you get the support you need. Thank you so much, Mississippi State Representative Ronnie Crudup Jr.
Thank you.